Hi guys, in the previous video we looked at how to prepare for an ADR transport. In this video we will figure out what to do before loading, what to check and what to pay attention to during loading. Before loading, the orange plates must be opened and the vehicle must be marked with ADR plates if the vehicle is required to do so. If the vehicle needs to be marked with placards, this must also be done before loading begins. Cleaning the loading surface is also an important task. If the loading surface is dirty, it must be cleaned before loading begins. And now let's look at how to check the loading. There are two possible versions regarding loading. The first is that we can be there during loading and inspect what happens. Here we have the chance to check exactly what is being loaded, how it is being secured, and how the goods look. This is the more fortunate case where we know for sure what was loaded and how at the consignor. The other case is when we cannot be present at the loading. In many cases, loading takes place in a closed system, in which case the truck driver cannot be present at the time of loading and doesn't know what is happening during the loading. The same applies when we take a closed transport unit. In this case, the truck driver doesn't know how it was loaded and whether the transport vehicle was marked correctly. In this case, it is necessary to make an entry in the proper box of the CMR about the fact that we were not present at the loading. This is what the CMR reservations and observations list is for, which also contains the entry that the truck driver was not present at the time of loading. In this case, it will be very important not to leave without the consignor's signature. If the sender refuses to sign the consignment note, he can do so, but in this case, an entry must also be made in the appropriate box. In such cases, it is good if the truck driver informs his superiors. And now, let's look at what to pay attention during loading. Okay, and the first one is prohibition of smoking. Smoking is prohibited during loading dangerous goods. The next one is it is important to check the number of the pallets and packages. The next point is to check the transport is permitted according to ADR. During loading, it's necessary to check that the packaging is in good condition, no damage. Dangerous goods cannot be transported in damaged packaging. Dangerous goods with damaged packaging that is torn on the loading surface and leaks may flow. This brings particularly high penalties. If possible, we check the labels and markings on the package. Such markings can be, for example, overpack, arrows, which are indicating a stationary position, environmentally hazardous goods, etc. And the very professional dangerous goods truck drivers also check the packaging marking. It is very important that the materials belonging to the correct packaging group are placed in the packaging material with the correct packaging code. Of course, this is a much higher level, but if someone is familiar with the rules of dangerous goods transport, they can also easily check this. Unfortunately, the authority can also impose penalties for such reason. The next thing is to separate the dangerous goods from food and animal feed if such goods are involved. Also check whether there is a quantity restriction for the given dangerous goods according to the regulation. Pay attention to the loading, the proper placement of the cargo, and securing of the goods. This is your responsibility. So incorrect securing of goods in the case of dangerous goods cause much greater sanctions than in the case of any other normal commercial goods. It is also worth checking whether any exception can be applied. For example, dangerous goods packed in limited quantities, dangerous goods in accepted quantities, or dangerous goods transported according to ADR 1136. It is important to pay attention to the mixed loading prohibition too. There is a corresponding table for this in the ADR book. And finally, make sure that your vehicle is not overweight. Just as in the case of securing the load, the fines imposed for such violations in the case of transporting dangerous goods are much higher than in the case of normal goods. As in all cases, it is worth consulting with a DGSA, a dangerous goods safety advisor. If you are transporting very serious goods, such as dangerous goods with high consequences, there is no question at all of consulting a specialist, because in such cases, serious plans must be prepared. In the following videos, we will examine how to check the rules applicable to dangerous goods using the table found in the ADR, or since modern applications are now available for this test, they can also help a lot. We will take a look on that. Then we also examine what we need to do after loading so that we can drive vehicles loaded with dangerous goods safely, regularly, and without sanctions on European roads. That's it for now, guys. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, please share it. If you don't want to miss similar content, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.